Ms. Winters, you say that you and Mr. Cawley have been together for 6 years, but now his paternity denial of your son, Amani, has put your relationship in jeopardy. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Cawley, you claim that throughout your relationship, Ms. Winters has been unfaithful and say when today's results prove you are not Amani's father, the relationship is over. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Winters, you say your family is in jeopardy.
Yeah, lately all we've been doing, we argue all the time. We have a lot of insecurity issues.
A lot of insecurity?
Yeah, because of, the past.
But it's just resentment from the issues from the past, though.
Well, what kind of issues from the past? Explain.
Betrayal, me catching her in the bed with another guy.
Oh.
We were kind of broken up and having problems at the time. And before that, I had caught him talking to another girl. So.
Wait a minute, don't skip over that catching in the bed part. Mr. Cawley, tell me what happened. You said you caught her in the bed with somebody else.
Yes, Your Honor. Well, I was away, and the moment I got home, I was ready to just flop in the bed. I had been away for a minute, and I turned the corner, and I see both of them laying in the bed, and the guy was asleep, and she was laying there with...
I was dressed. We were dressed.
You had your clothes on, you said, but you were in the bed with a guy.
Yes. Well, he was a family friend, and he was spending the night there, and Michael's away. We were having problems at the time. And this was after I found out he was talking to another female, so at that point, I didn't even want to be with him.
But that's kind
Were you sleeping with this guy you were in the bed with?
I had prior to that, but I didn't that night.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying, Your Honor?
So now she's admitting to you she slept with this guy.
He only knows because I told him about it.
I believe the only reason she told me about that is to cover up the other things that she did, just to make...
What are the other things she did?
Just rumors of guys being at the house, her hanging out with other guys and stuff like that.
I admitted at the time I was talking to other guys and stuff, but like I said at the time, a couple months before that, I had just found out he was with some girl. I just can't prove he cheated, and he won't be man enough to tell me he cheated, so I just kind of strung away from the relationship.
Because I didn't cheat.
So wait a minute. You all have all this going on, and Mr. Cawley, you're saying because of all of this, you have doubt concerning Amani's paternity.
Yes, Your Honor.
And that's why you petitioned this court for a lie detector test. Am I correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So this court has granted that request, and we will have those results in just a moment, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Moving forward, how'd you two originally meet?
We had a mutual friend, and we were kind of friends. We worked together, and eventually, probably after a year later, we moved in together. And then that's whenever I think the main problems started happening, because we started getting more serious, we had more problems. And
yes, as soon as we got our first place, that's exactly when we started going downhill.
Why?
Because
there was too much responsibility for him.
There was no.
She said it was too much responsibility for you, Mr. Cawley.
I'm a young man. I have no kids. Helping her take care of her 2 kids.
Oh, so when you moved in together, Ms. Winters had 2 other children.
2 other children.
Prior to this relationship.
But I had them when I met him too, so, right.
And so when you moved in with her, you took on the responsibility of these 2 children.
I sacrificed a lot.
Well, I mean, look.
He really didn't sacrifice anything. He just grew up. Because when I met him, he was young, still living with his, mother at home. And since he got with me,
but like she said,
he's had his first place,
you
know what I mean? Like, he's grown up a lot, and he's just not used to it.
Like she said, I was young, but everything seemed like it was unfolding. You know what I'm saying? I was out of high school. I was in college. I was chasing my dreams, taking care of my mom. I was the man of the house in my mama's house, taking care of my sister. And I got with her I saw being with her as a path to start my own life. But I simply were kind of still testing the waters a little bit. But I was simply talking.
Why were you testing the waters, talking to other women when you were moved in with Ms. Winters?
I guess being young, saw my future kind of flash before my eyes a little bit.
Oh, the responsibility of raising 2 children and being in this relationship made you start thinking.
Yes, Your Honor, I was still there to take care of my responsibility, but I probably shouldn't have, the female friends that I had, I probably shouldn't have been talking to them as much with us having a place together. But that still don't have nothing to do with her taking it the whole next level and actually cheating on me.
But the girl he was actually caught talking with, when I found out he worked with her, I was like, don't talk to her. And then next thing I know, I'm finding out he's at her house, giving her rides. So, at that point, I was ready to break up with him.
And so after this incident, you all decided to break up?
We did for maybe a week or 2.
But at some point, you come up pregnant.
Yeah, well, we ended up getting back together at the end of 2013, and we pretty much were like, look, we're either gonna stay together and quit all this, or we're just gonna break up. So we pretty much agreed to stay together.
We did make an agreement that we weren't gonna mess around and do all that no more. And around the time that she said that she was pregnant with Amani, her family member told me that she was at the house with the guy that I asked her not to be.
Take me back to that moment. You find out you're pregnant.
I didn't even say nothing or tell him or nothing. I kind of just bought a test because I was late, you know. And when it came back positive, that's whenever I called him and I told him about it.
And to be honest, I was kind of happy whenever I found out that she was pregnant. And then her family member's spouse told me later on that she was at the house with this guy numerous times.
Oh, so had you slept with this guy?
No, I didn't. And it was a 1-bedroom apartment. My family member and his family, and then me and him. So it's not like we were in the middle, in the living room sleeping together.
So you're saying it's your testimony that you weren't at this house with this man multiple times, as your own family member alerted
That
him.
doesn't like Michael told him, yeah.
This is a mess. You're just on a treadmill, running a race and never winning. If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. And this, coupled with all the other rumors, you walking in the house, seeing her in the bed with somebody else, all of these things have fueled your doubt.
Yes, Your Honor.
And now your relationship is it's on the line.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Your Honor.
We just don't trust each other.
And there's a beautiful 16-month-old baby in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know for certain if it's your biological child.
No, Your Honor, I don't know.
And you can't trust anything Ms. Winters says because you say she's lied to you and betrayed you over and over again. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. But there's still that I don't care attitude, so.
She has an I don't care attitude.
Yeah, still to this day.
Well,
and it just made me feel like it never left. Even after we made that agreement. What's the agreement?
That
we, at the beginning of 2014,
okay.
The agreement that we weren't gonna mess around or do none of that crazy stuff no more, it made me feel like it never left, because it'd been probably like 2 years since then, and she's still showing that I don't care attitude.
And I only act like that because he tries to, if some guy I went to school with likes one of my Facebook posts, he's like, delete him.
If he's your friend, he's gonna like stuff, but if he's liking every single thing in a row, then I'm like, man, he on your stuff too much.
And I should delete him,
So there's no trust?
None at all.
Well, that's why you asked for a lie detector test.
Right.
Exactly.
And, we have administered that test and we have the results. Would you like to hear the results?
Yes, Your Honor.
Jerome? Ms. Winters, you met with a licensed polygraph examiner.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Your Honor.
And you were asked the following questions. On the day Michael found a man in your bed, did you have sex with him? You said no.
Yes, Your Honor.
The lie detector determined you were being truthful.
Told you.
Ms. Winters, you were asked, have you had sexual intercourse with anyone other than Michael since the end of 2013? You said no. The lie detector determined you were being deceptive.
Now, that's not true.
You were asked, are you currently hiding a sexual or romantic relationship with another man from Michael? You said no.
Yes, Your Honor.
The lie detector determined you were being deceptive.
What?
Mr. Cawley, how does it feel to hear those results?
Some of the stuff I had gut feeling about that she was lying about, but I was in denial, but I'm really not too surprised, for real.
Ms. Winters, it said you were being deceptive on more than one occasion. Is there something you'd like to say?
In the beginning of 2014, I did, it did prolong a little after than I said it did. but that was the only thing that I can really think that I lied about. The whole
Well,
lying about
that's
somebody now is a little different.
What's a little different?
Because, like I said, then we were having problems. Now we're not. So.
But point blank period, man, we made an agreement at that point.
Yeah, well, you also cheated on me 4 months ago, so that agreement kind of went out the window. So.
The bottom line is, after the agreement, you were still sleeping with somebody else.
Right, and that was because I know he was too, because I saw him, he was writing girls on Facebook trying to find new friends, and you know what I mean? It just didn't feel real at the time, so.
All right, so you've admitted to that.
Yeah.
And that's what the lie detector indicated. It also indicated that there's some romantic relationship you're hiding.
The honest to God truth, since then, beginning in 2014, especially since I got pregnant, I haven't even conversated with a guy that I shouldn't even been talking to.
And so after you hear these results, Mr. Cawley, does that further fuel your doubt? I mean, that at this point, she was found to be deceptive on more than one occasion during the lie detector test.
I think my main thing is if Amani is mine or not, because I don't want to be there for a kid that's not mine. But as far as her lying on the lie detector test, I'm really not sure about this relationship.
So you're saying just the lie detector results, you're concerned that the relationship won't be able to last?
Yeah, because that was still before she was pregnant with Amani.
Well, then we should have broke up 4 months ago then.
We should have been, that's true,
Yeah,
we should have been broke up.
Probably been broke up.
Because you're saying, Ms. Winters, well, then we should have broken up before he cheated again.
Right, because I feel like he did it because of what I did in the past. So he felt like I was gonna get over it, and he felt like he had one on me. You know what I mean?
Maybe the only reason she forgave me was because of all the stuff she did before that.
Ooh, Lord, you're all tit for tat. Goodness. It's just the worst cycle. It just keeps going.
Right. And that's why sometimes I tell him, I feel like we should have been broke up, like we are too damaged, you know what I mean? But for some reason, I don't know if it's because we love each other or, you know what I mean? Like we just have so much history and it's been so long, so we just, you know what I mean? We just stay together.
I feel like at this point I sacrificed so much, and I've always had a hard time with quitting anything, and that's a lot of the reason why I stayed, cause it's like I said, it's been like 6 years now. So, and that's 6 years of my life that I probably would have been already doing what I love to do by now.
Well, listen, when you invest so much time in a person, you just feel like my payoff is happiness. I'm gonna get to it by hook or by crook, and I'm gonna stay. I don't care what happens because I want that. Right. I've invested a lot of time.
That's why I came here, to prove to him that, Amani is his son, so that we can, get past all this and we ain't gotta,
And that's another reason why I'm so attached, is because of the kids. Is because of the other kids, because their fathers aren't really around at all, and I'm more of a father to them than they've ever known. They
look to you as one of their major father figures, even if they know you're not their biological father.
Right. When we break up or, he leaves or something, they'll ask me, like, where's Michael,
So, Ms. Winters, I have to ask you this. If Amani is not Mr. Cawley's biological child, you're worried that pretty much all 3 of your children will be without a father.
I mean, that would be the case, but he is his son, so.
Mr. Cawley, are you that certain?
I'm hopeful, but I don't know. I'll be hurt, but.
You just seem so defeated in this relationship.
Because I've been through so much just trying to keep it together. I feel like she said we should have been broke up, but I also feel like I've been the main reason we still together to this day. She's so quick to push me away and try to mess it up, but I'm looking at the kids. I even told her a lot of times, you need to look at your kids.
Yeah, but
Ms. Winters, I'm a straight shooter though. You do seem kind of nonchalant. Like
I do though.
You could take it or leave it.
I mean, maybe I don't show my emotion like I should, you know what I mean? But like at the end of the day, I do think of my children, you know what I mean? Like whenever we go back and forth and we're arguing all the time, like that's not healthy for them either. Like I'd rather them have no father than be around me and him arguing all the time.
Look, we all grow in relationships. Sometimes we grow together, sometimes we grow apart. And I think that's what we have to determine here, whether you all are gonna continue to try to grow together or if you're gonna have to grow apart.
Right.
And most importantly, how we handle the child that could potentially be in the middle of this, Amani.
Right.
I have the paternity results for you. Are you ready for them?
Yes.
Yes.
Jerome?
There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics and they read as follows. In the case of Winters versus Cawley, When it comes to 16-month-old Amani Cawley, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Cawley, you are the father.
So that right there should prove to him I wasn't cheating, around the time.
Well, it doesn't really prove that, Ms. Winters. But it does prove that Amani is his biological child, and it relieves the doubt.
Right.
The arguing, the not knowing, we have to get this together, what you guys are doing right now. Now, do you all want to try to work on this relationship now that we have these results?
I want to try to give it a shot.
Do you want to give it a shot, Ms. Winters?
Yes, but all I know is that if any, we've already talked about if anything happens again between either one of us, then we're just going to go our separate ways.
Mr. Dansby, you're petitioning the court for a DNA test to prove that the defendant, Ms. Simpson, has been lying in her claim that you are the father of her 3-year-old son, Tanoris. Now, Ms. Simpson, you're countersuing Mr. Dansby for child rearing expenses in the sum of $3,361.56, which is half of the money you claim to have spent on Tanoris.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Dansby, why is it it's taking you 3 years to petition the court for a DNA test?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
The reason why it took 3 years, ma'am, because Miss Simpson, she had been lying to me. It was so much shade. She had another dude who she was dealing with. I mean, it was one particular morning I had caught.
No, what it was that I had been trying to get you to do a DNA test, but you chose to run. You didn't want to go to the child support place to do the DNA test.
Is that true, Mr. Dansby?
So,
Ma'am, that's not true. Miss Simpson, she had been lying. I had doubts about this kid, Tanoris. Is this so much as my son? She have not let me see. I don't even know the kid.
but how?
How
How can I let you see him
And so
when I can't find you?
The
You knew where I was. You got in
I don't
contact
know
with
where
me
you
through
at.
Facebook.
You don't stay in one spot, so therefore, how can I
Yolanda,
find you?
You got in contact with me through Facebook with one of my family members.
Okay.
Mr. Dansby, let
Ma'am.
me ask you this, though. What effort have you made to try to get the DNA test done?
Well, Your Honor, it was times where I had reached out to Miss Simpson. I had got in contact with Miss Simpson through phone. If it was so much as my son, why haven't you brought the kid around me? The
All
kid
right.
carry another
Why
man
should
last
I have
night.
to
So
run you
I
down?
want to understand this relationship more, and I can see right now, nobody made enough of an effort to get a DNA test, but that's why you're here today.
Yes.
So take me back.
All right.
This relationship,
Okay.
how did it start?
Man, we met through a mutual friend. She moved me into her home where she was staying there with her other 2 kids. Miss Simpson had another man who she was dealing with.
When you met her,
Oh, let me
explain.
Okay, what happened was it was one particular school morning. I was getting her kids ready for school. Okay, I got them on the school bus. Miss Simpson was taking a shower that morning. I just so happened caught the phone call. It was another dude. He was shocked to hear me.
I don't
just was
recall
shocked
of
to hear
that
him.
phone call. I
And
don't
later
recall
on,
of that.
I had talked to Miss Simpson about the strange phone call, and she told me that it was the dude that was paying her phone bill.
No,
Okay?
no.
So I'm lying on you?
Yes, you are lying.
I caught the phone call. You
But
told
like I
me
said,
about the
you're
dude.
lying.
You told me about the dude.
Well, Miss Simpson, how do you know he's lying if you don't remember the conversation?
That's how I know he's lying, because I don't recall of it. If it was the truth, I
That
would
man
remember
told me
it.
that you was his lady, point blank.
How
And I asked
come
you about
this
that.
lady and you will stand with me? If that's the case, why would I have
Mr.
you stand
Dansby,
with
the
me?
man told you that she was his lady?
Yes.
And then what did you say?
No.
I spoke with her about it. I thought he heard
So you
my
all
voice.
just hung up. After that, you hung up, and then that's when you had the conversation with her.
Yes.
All right, so from at that point, you were on notice. There was
Another man.
another man. You
in the
knew there
picture.
was some man in the picture in your mind.
Exactly.
Okay, so how does this translate as it moves forward and you find out she's pregnant? Are
Okay,
you?
after the strange phone call, we had went to visit her dad in her hometown, where he from, which is Vidalia, Georgia. Okay, we went down there, and she said she was feeling sick that particular day. So
And
we
I
went to the
was.
pharmacy. She went and took a pregnancy test.
Yes.
Okay, and then after that, she said it came out to find out that she was pregnant.
Did you immediately assume
I
you
had
were
my doubts. I immediately
Right
assumed-
from the
So if
beginning?
you had
Right
your
from the
doubt,
back.
if
Right
you
from the
didn't
back.
think that this baby was yours, why did you so-called put on like you was happy?
Because I didn't want to rain on nobody's parade, Miss Simpson.
But don't rain. I mean, rain on my parade.
You had me around
rain on my parade.
Miss Simpson, you had me around all your family
I don't
members.
want you giving me this energy that you're happy about this child when you're not happy about this child.
So you all were a couple having a baby.
Right.
She told me that this was
Just
none
like
of my
he
child.
went on and told his
Wait a
people,
minute,
I
she
went on
what?
and told my people.
Man, Miss Simpson stated over the phone that Tanara wasn't none of my child.
When did she say this?
Okay, and that came
This was like,
about,
this was in 3 months before he was even born.
It was not 3 months. It was not 3 months.
I had
Hold on.
Cawley do the
I want to understand this. Get me to this conversation 3 months before the baby was even born where you say she told you the baby wasn't even yours.
I asked, we was talking over the phone, and she somewhat got an attitude with me about the situation.
Yes,
Tanara.
I did. I sure
You know what I'm
did.
saying?
Because
Cause she had told me
who
one
wanna
time that
deal
it
with
wasn't none of
somebody's
my
child?
So you got into an argument.
We got into an argument
And
about
she
it.
said,
She said that Tanara wasn't none of my child.
and did you say that,
And
Miss
so I'm
Simpson?
like,
yes, I did. Your
Why
Honor.
did you say that?
Because I don't want to
Thank
deal
you.
with that childish with him. I would rather sit here and go through it by myself than be stressed out about whether or not he's going to play a part in my child's life.
You had
While I'm
another
pregnant.
man. I mean,
You keep bringing up another man.
Miss Simpson, did
It ain't
you,
even
were
about
you
me.
with anyone else? Were you sleeping with anyone else?
It was a possibility of someone else. So,
So you admit there was another man?
yes, Your Honor, it was.
At what point did you admit to Mr. Dansby that there was another man?
It was maybe 3 months into the pregnancy.
So that is the conversation he's speaking about when you said this is not even your child?
Yes.
Why is it you don't believe anything
okay,
she
the
said?
reason why I have my doubts about Miss Simpson because she a compulsive liar. This is my timeline.
Outlines all of the lies. Walk me through this. I want to understand
everything. We met through a friend.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
In November 2011, that's when you got the old man phone call.
Yes, I got the phone call from the old dude. And he was shocked to hear me just like I was shocked to hear from him.
All right.
Okay.
And then moving forward, she announces the pregnancy.
Yes, she announced that. She told everyone she was pregnant. I had my doubts about that, about her being
So
pregnant.
you were doubtful again and felt like there was something shady going on then
Yes,
too.
it was a lot of shade going on with me.
Move forward to April 2012. That's when she told you.
That's when she told me that I wasn't the father.
So now you really questioning.
I'm questioning Yolanda like one behind the other. I'm trying to find out what's the truth. Is she lying to me on that?
So now July 2012, Tanoris is born.
Yeah, he was born, and I was trying to. I had got in contact with Miss Simpson. I was trying to find out whether it was my son or not, and she told me
Because you weren't there at the hospital when he was born.
No, I was not. It was another man there when she was in the hospital.
There was?
Yes,
Yeah,
it was.
Was there? Oh, Miss Simpson,
Yes,
there
it
was?
was.
Who is this man?
It was the guy that I had been dealing with for a while, and then we broke it off, and then that's when I started dealing with Mr. Dansby. And then me and this guy started back dealing. So therefore, he stepped up to the plate, and he helped me with my child.
All right, so let me jump ahead in this timeline to October 2014. When you
October
say it's the
2014.
first time you met Tanoris, what was shady about that?
That was my first time ever seeing tonight. But I feel like if she's so confident about this, my son, why it took 3 years for me to see Tanaris?
Okay, but I got evidence that
Okay, we did
you
take
put
a
on
picture.
Facebook. You
We
put
did.
on
What is
there.
that evidence, ma'am?
It is a picture of him and Tanoris where
I
he
took the
says
picture.
that.
Jerome, will you hand that to me, please? This is a picture of
Me and Tanaris.
Yes,
Mr. Dansby and Tanoris.
That was my first time ever seeing Tanaris that same day. My family members, they seen
But if you
Tanaris.
didn't think he was yours, why would you say like father, like son? I shouldn't have to drive an hour and a half just for him to meet my child. Yes, true, no, you might not have had a car, but at the same time, you could have found a way to come and see this child. You knew where I stayed. You
Your
could have
Honor.
reached out through Facebook. Or
You
coulda
felt
got-
like he wasn't making enough effort.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, it had been several occasions, several times I had tried to reach out to Miss Simpson as far as me and her getting together, sitting down and talking like grown people about Tanaris. It was all talk, no action with Miss Simpson. Miss Simpson stayed
And
3
so
hours
in a
away
year,
from me.
though, Mr. Dansby,
I stay
you
3
couldn't-
hours now.
You couldn't get a ride for an hour and a
It
half
had
or a
been
bus.
Judge, Your Honor, it had been times where I had rides lined up to take me to visit Miss Simpson and Tanaris.
And
her
what would
other 2
happen?
kids.
But did you call? Did you try to reach out?
Miss Simpson used to.
Did you call?
Did I call? It had been plenty of times I had called you, Miss Simpson.
But you didn't say that you wanted to see this child.
I was calling you. That's the only reason I was calling your phone.
Okay, but
So,
did you
Mr.
make it
Dansby,
clear
you
that
think she was
on your way?
dodging you?
Yes. I really do feel deep down that she was dodging me, man.
Dodge you for what? Why? Why would I want to dodge you?
Because you had been lying to
It's
me.
a child that need a father. So why would I dodge you when my child need a father?
Man, can I? My dad wasn't there for me when I was a kid. So I take this very deep. As far as I do want Tanara to know that who his father is. I do want to be his father.
Yes, because you don't want that cycle.
Because I got 3 kids of my own. I got 3 girls. I take care of all my kids. She know that. I don't understand why.
I don't know,
Have
because mine
you
ain't
stepped
to
up
kill.
since this picture and you met Tanaris? Have you stepped up to help support him?
I mean, yes, I've been supporting Tanaris. Yeah.
How? Child support?
Yeah, child support.
Okay, and that just
But
started
it's not about the money. I need to bond with this. I need to bond with him if he's my son.
Okay,
so
and
you
I
need to
understand
it.
But have you bonded with him?
No, I have not had the opportunity to bond with Tanara. I only seen him one time, man. That's
In
it.
your life?
In my life. I only seen him one, and that was only for 2 hours. He don't even know me. He don't know me.
The man is saying he wanted to bond with the child. He wanted to be more active in the child's life. It just doesn't seem to add up.
Well, I mean, I understand, but I feel like he didn't put as much effort into it to get me to bring my child.
Because the reason why, because you
All
were
right.
lying to me. You should never
How
told me.
was
So, I heard that. As it relates to your suit, you have evidence outlining the expenses you've
Yes, I
incurred
do.
thus far. I'd like to see that. Jerome, will you hand it to me, please? Please explain to me, Ms. Simpson, the expenses that you've outlined here. Of course, food, bottles.
Yes.
What else have you bought for the child?
Clothes, diapers.
They total $6,723.12, which is why you're suing for half that amount, because
Yes,
you
ma'am.
feel like that is what's owed to you,
Yes.
because that's what he should have contributed. Now, you understand I can't rule on your suit until it is determined whether or not Mr. Dansby is in fact Tanaris' biological father, because he would have no legal responsibility to care for the child financially if in fact it is not his biological child.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Dansby, have you made any contribution to the upbringing of this child financially? I know you haven't seen him a lot
I mean,
thus far.
they be taking money out my check every time I get paid for Tanaris.
How much have they
They be
taken out?
They be taking 100. It only took about 360 from me already.
240.
240, 360.
240.
240. They don't took money
that's
out
all
my
I
check
have
3 separate
received
occasions.
is 240, and that
So
was the payment.
they
It's
took
still
$360, but you've received $240, ma'am. Okay.
This is my child. Why you haven't brought this man? Let me meet the kid. Let me bond with the kid. If you know
And
for a
when
fact
we
that
get
my
these
child,
results in
you keep talking about results, but
when we
you
get
say
these results and it's in print that Tanaris is yours, you can have all the time that you want with your child because my child deserves a father.
yeah, he do this. He didn't
But
ask for none of this.
until
But at the
then-
same time, I feel as though
Until then, you will not get a month until I
won't
get
get
this print. That he
But you say this my son for sure though. Like you
Yes, he's
confident.
yours.
You 110.
He's yours.
You very confident about
Very
this.
confident that he's yours.
Why you won't let me take the? You won't let me
Miss
do me?
Simpson, let me ask you this. Before I go to these results, are there any other men we need to know about that you've left out of the conversation? Mr. Dansby has been very clear that your facts are sometimes a little shady, and all the facts aren't always there when you tell a story. Let's just say
Your
that.
Honor,
Is there anything else you'd like to say in this courtroom today before I go to the results?
Once we get these results, I need for you to step up and be a father
No
to
problem.
my son.
I have no problem with doing that, Miss Simpson. I
Okay.
would have been stepped up had you would have just kept it real with me.
Okay.
So,
You see what I'm saying? Don't lie to me. Don't do that.
So, Ms.
Don't lie to me.
Simpson, Ms. Simpson, what you're saying is that there is no way, no how, and no chance that anybody else could be Tanaris' father besides Mr. Dansby.
No, Your Honor.
All right,
Not.
Jerome, I'm ready for the envelope. Thank you. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Dansby versus Simpson, pertaining to 3-year-old Tanoris, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Dansby, you are Tanoris' father.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I've said it, there's been many days, and I've asked men to enumerate, tell me what your doubt is and what it's based on. And there are some times when, men just get in their head that they're not the father, they can't be the father, but they can't talk about and really explain why they're doubtful. In this case, Mr. Dansby, you had a right to be doubtful.
I know, man. I mean,
you did. And ultimately, Ms. Simpson admitted that. But now we have the truth.
I feel good about the results.
And say that I'm sorry for all the trouble that I have took you through. So now can we start out to a better start for our child?
Sure.
Yes. Yes. I love that. I love that.
Sure.
Good for you, Ms. Simpson, because that's what this courtroom is all about. Now, in light of today's results, that in fact Tanoris is Mr. Dansby's biological child, Ms. Simpson, you are entitled to half of the amount of money that you've spent thus far raising Tanoris. Now, you came to court suing for $3,361.56. Is that correct?
Yes.
You do acknowledge you've received $240 thus far from Mr. Dansby, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
So for that reason, the court can award you $3,121.56 in child rearing expenses. Court is adjourned. Ms. Hawthorne, you are here today because you say your high school sweetheart, Mr. Brown, is a smooth-talking deadbeat who got you pregnant 3 years ago and is now denying your baby. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Brown, you say Ms. Hawthorne is a desperate liar who will say and do anything in order to have a family with you. You claim there is no way you could have fathered her child, and you intend to prove that today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Hawthorne, why do you say Mr. Brown is a deadbeat?
He doesn't do anything for Chase. He doesn't come see him, anything.
And that makes you so angry?
Yes.
Because you feel like he's not honoring his responsibility?
Right. And plus, I grew up without a father. So I don't want my kid to grow up how I did.
And so, Mr. Brown, Ms. Hawthorne says you acting like a deadbeat. Why?
Your Honor, this baby isn't mine. I desperately believe that she's emotionally attached to me, and she desperately wants to have a family with me.
It's not true, because me and DeAndre, we were in a relationship. We were high school sweethearts. I was all about him and everything. Everything was good until he started cheating.
So this was your high school sweetheart?
Yes, I lost my virginity to him.
And you say everything was going fine?
Yes, until he started cheating. Started cheating on me.
You started cheating, Mr. Brown?
Well, Your Honor, we was living in 2 different parts of the city. So she was living in the suburbs, and I was living in the city. At the first beginning of the relationship.
What does that have to do with cheating?
Yeah, that's true.
This doesn't even make any sense now. I thought you said he was your everything. You all met in high school. You lost your virginity to him. So
Yes.
you went to high school together?
No, we were separate. He's in Chicago and I'm in the suburb.
Okay,
So we
'cause I'm
started
like,
dating through
what
online.
is happening?
We were dating online. That's how we found out about each other.
Oh, so you all met online.
Online, right. And
But it
so
was
we were
during
like,
when you were in high school.
Right. And so we were dating online, but it actually took a year after we started seeing each other, because we were young, we didn't have transportation.
So you met online, you lived in 2 different places.
Yeah.
And you all were going back and forth
Yeah.
until you figured out how to meet up.
Yes.
How long after you met online did you meet up?
A year.
So it was a
afterward.
year.
Yes.
And then you say you lost your virginity to this man who
Yes.
you met online.
Yes.
Note to all the parents in the gallery whose high school kids are playing online.
Yeah.
Okay?
Your Honor, Your Honor, we only had sex one time, and that was in 2014 in August.
No.
That only one time. We wasn't going back and forth. I wanted to continue to move on.
So listen, Chase is 2 years old. So clearly, it did go on and on past one sexual encounter because you wouldn't be a potential father had you not continued to have sex with her. Chase is only 2.
Exactly.
So what happened where you all reconnected during the period of time when Chase could have potentially been conceived?
It was in December 9th of 2015.
You all reconnect, or did you get back together? What happened?
So I was pretty much leaving my significant other. I was coming over to talk to Bria about us not seeing each other anymore. So we was in the car and we ended up getting into a heated moment, and both of us started kissing and ended up having sex in the back seat.
We were talking about getting back together, Your Honor. That's what the whole...
So wait, you told her this is the last time you're gonna see each other.
No.
And you said he was trying to figure out how to fix the relationship.
Yes, that's
so
what we
you have
talked
sex
about.
in the back of this car.
Yes.
Is this the day you feel like you conceived Chase?
Yes.
Your Honor, I pleased her and I didn't finish, Your Honor.
Your Honor, that's a complete lie.
Oh, you're saying you didn't
complete
finish
lie.
the act.
No.
Actually, I warned him. I told DeAndre, I was like, I'm not on birth control. So I said, it's at you at your own risk.
So, Your Honor,
So
that
do what
is
you will.
the reason why I did not finish, because she wasn't on birth control, so why would I proceed
But you were the only person I was with, so I don't...
So you say you didn't complete the act, and so therefore you can't be Chase's biological father.
Correct, because before I came to her, I had sex with my girlfriend.
What? Okay.
You had sex with your girlfriend before you came to see Miss Hawthorne?
Correct, Your Honor.
This doesn't make any kind of sense.
And I missed my period in January. So, like, we were having sex around the end of November, beginning of December of 2015.
This is a shady situation from the beginning.
You said it's shady.
It's a shady
Oh, who's shady?
I never had a conception date.
This is a shady
Your Honor,
situation.
never had
Okay, hold on. Wait, just wait. Let me ask the questions and you all answer them, because y'all talking about all over the place. I mean, you all are sitting there operating off of 2 completely different understandings. You think you in the back of a car getting back together. He think he in the back of a car saying goodbye.
All right.
And Chase up here wondering, when are these 2 gonna get it together? Because I'm 2, and I need a mother and a father. Now answer the questions I ask and make some sense when you answer them. Mr. Brown,
Yeah, sure.
you say it's a shady situation.
Correct.
But you, the #1 shade tree, because you had sex with your girlfriend, then came there and had sex with Miss Hawthorne. She told you she wasn't on birth control. You did it anyway, because you didn't have no self-control, and you weren't prepared, and you was over there having your cake, eating it too, baking another one, and getting the ingredients for a third. I know how this works.
Well, Your Honor.
So therefore, you do know you could be Chase's biological father. Now I want to know why you doubt it.
Your Honor, she had a boyfriend at the time.
Okay.
I did not. Me and this guy, we were roommates. We decided in
Your Honor.
June of 2015 to move in together.
Is this a guy you've been intimate with ever?
No, never at all. He was just a friend.
So you're gonna move in with someone and not have sex with them.
Yes.
A male being is not
Yes.
gonna try anything with you to
No,
have sex.
not if he's just a friend. Not if we never had that type of relationship.
But how would he feel about that?
We don't even talk. We stopped talking when I moved out September of 2015. I moved back into my
So
mom's house.
is it your testimony, Miss Hawthorne, that during the window of time when Mr. Brown had moved on, had a whole different girlfriend and everything, that you were with no one else?
I was not doing anything with anybody else.
That is your testimony?
Yes.
All right. Take me to the birth. When Chase was
Yes.
born, do you notify Mr. Brown?
No. We were not on like good speaking terms at the moment.
But this is the father of your child.
Yes.
So speaking terms or not, didn't he deserve to know that the child was about to come into the world?
I notified DeAndre September 24th, so a day right after. I wanted to make sure everything was good with Chase after
Your Honor.
giving birth and everything.
Your Honor, how if the baby is
That don't
born?
make no kind of sense.
No,
Because if you're going to call him the day after, then why wouldn't you let him know that his baby was coming if you knew it was his baby?
Because, Your Honor, how are you going to let me know?
All right, these are the many questions neither one of you all can answer. So now Chase is 2 years old, and you say Mr. Brown hasn't been a part of his life at all.
Not at all. He's only seen him 4 times.
Your Honor, I feel trapped in the situation.
How?
I feel trapped.
How do you feel trapped?
Because first off, you didn't let me know that you was pregnant until 14 weeks later.
Okay, so you trapped yourself in the backseat of the car when you really should have come and broke up with her, but instead you decide to have sex with her because you sitting around here. No, really. When you in simple mode, you get simple results. You went over there and you had sex. Now you could be the father. Next point.
Okay, so if she pretty much went so long without telling me, okay, that this baby could be possibly mine, but how you gonna tell me that you want me in this life and you pretty much telling me the day before or the day of?
To that point, I will say that the whole thing of her telling you after the baby was born and you feeling like you didn't get an opportunity to be there, I do feel like those scenarios are the setup for doubt. That's how they happen. And so the doubt that you're sitting with right now is still a doubt that you created, you helped to create because you had sex with her. But you're here, and now I want to know why you haven't stepped up and done anything for Chase in 2 years, since you know you could potentially be this child's biological father.
Your Honor, I wouldn't say that I haven't done anything.
What
for
have
this
you done?
baby. I've actually sent her money each month.
How much money?
Lie.
However much money that she
Lie.
asked
You
for.
say you send her money every month?
Yes.
Lie
Okay,
again.
so Ms. Hawthorne, did he give you money every month?
No.
So
Like,
who's
he would
helping?
give me
Who's
money.
helping you with Chase?
Mom.
Mom, I want you to stand up. Step over to the podium. State your name for the court, please.
Carolyn Hawthorne.
All right, Ms. Hawthorne, do you believe Mr. Brown is Chase's biological father?
Definitely. I believe that he has said it on texts that he has sent, all kinds of proof. He looked just like him. I mean, how can you deny that beautiful baby? I mean, he's gorgeous. And to say, no, this is not my child, it's ridiculous. And he's never been there for him. I'm one person can say he's never been there because I do everything for him. I buy his food, I get his milk, I buy his diapers. He's sick, I make sure he go to the doctor. I am the father. You can forget about all that rest.
Your
I
Honor.
am the father.
Ms. Hawthorne, what do you want to say to Mr. Brown?
I want him to step up and be a father to this child. He needs a father to guide him.
Your Honor, if I feel that this baby is not mine,
How could
The
you feel
potential-
that way though, and you were the only one I'm with? Like, you make no sense.
but you was with a whole nother guy.
Way before.
Mom, Ms. Hawthorne, when you testify, you seem to say that Mr. Brown is pretty much, he's indicated to you that he knows he's the father, that he believes he's the father.
Right, he sent a
through
text
text.
to me. Right.
How?
He sent a December the 4th, I text him and asked him, I said, Bria is not working. Can you get something for the baby? And he said, I don't have the money now. I said, well, I guess Chase won't have a Christmas.
You submitted those texts to the court. Let me look in my file. You write to him and say, I'm afraid that Chase at this point will not have the Christmas he deserves. Make things right with your son because he didn't ask to be born.
I didn't.
That's what you write. Mr. Brown responds, trust me, he will have a good Christmas, no worries. I'll just start checking periodically on what he needs and deliver it to him. Mr. Brown also says, I'm trying my best here. You think I'm happy about not being able to get him gifts on Christmas? I'm not. It hurts me. These texts sound like you've accepted that Chase is your child and you know that it's your responsibility as a father to make sure he has a nice Christmas.
So pretty much as my grandmother told me, the baby is yours until proven otherwise. So accepted this fact, I tried to do pretty much everything I can for it, even though I'm working on trying to build myself to make my son have a better future.
Do you spend time with Chase?
No.
No.
You don't?
I'm always
He's
working.
only seen him 4 times.
You've only seen him 4 times in over 2 years.
Almost 3.
And this could potentially be your son.
Correct.
So what happened to what your grandmother said then?
So pretty much, she explains to me, hey, you know.
I know what she said.
If you know that this baby is not yours, but you're not going to get a DNA test to prove it, then you should try to at least be in your son's life.
That's exactly my point. So you didn't do what your grandmother said. So you know what? We're going to do what this DNA says. Jerome, I'm ready for the results. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Hawthorne versus Brown, when it comes to 2-year-old Chase Hawthorne, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Brown, you are not the father.
Is that a joke?
No.
Oh, boy.
The DNA does not lie and it does not joke. Mr. Brown is not your child's biological father.
But I didn't have sex with nobody else. He the only person I had sex with.
Well, in this courtroom, that really means nothing. It's about the DNA. I mean, we often say, I'm the judge, but the DNA is the jury. The DNA is gonna come with the verdict. It's gonna be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And you here, so you can let go of that lie you put in your head. What are you gonna do for Chase?
Find out who his father is. Because apparently he's not it.